Hello, 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 motherfuckers. Welcome to another episode of the Unqualified as Fuck podcast. I'm Azar Faraday. This is my co-host Opulent Six, and this is my beautiful co-host Jenny B. Thick.
Wait, why she get an adjective?
She's beautiful, babe. I already told you.
Aww.
So this
Thank you.
I'm just like,
don't be a hater your
I'm
whole
not. I just
life.
was wondering, like, this my co-host Opulent Six, and this is the beautiful. You could have been like, this is my co-host, the magnificent, the prodigious,
Could have been
the enormous,
Yeah.
the magnanimous, the urbane Opulent Six. I did it myself, and that's beautiful. Jenny B. Thick. Now go ahead.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
That's how you. It's called self-love. You saw
I
that?
self-love the
You taught him something.
F out of myself.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay, so today we are going to talk about the whole Keke Palmer situation. I know y'all have seen it and everyone has an opinion on it. So we're just going to touch on it a little bit and talk about how we all feel. I'm not even sure if we're going to all have different opinions because we haven't really spoke about it. So this will be the first time we're getting into it.
Yeah, I don't know much about it.
So I'm actually going to tell you guys in case you don't know what happened. So basically Keke Palmer, she went to a Usher concert.
Okay.
And as you know, Usher, he gets real freaky, you know, he does his own thing.
The Vegas thing?
The Vegas thing. So he has a tendency of like going up to women. And Charlemagne had a video saying that he's doing this on purpose. Like he's the toxic one. He's the problem because he's going up to these women that he knows are in relationships. Like he could say, who are the single ladies? And then have them raise their hand and go up to them. But he's like going to these certain ladies.
Wow.
Winnie Harlow sat on her dude's lap when he was coming up to her. Like, I'm not about to get caught up with this nigga. So basically, Keke Palmer was at the concert with her friends. As you know, she just had a baby. She's living her best life. She has on a really, in my opinion, classy dress. It's like mesh, and it has like a bodysuit under it, and you can see her butt cheeks, right? But it still, to
Real
me,
classy.
looks tasteful. No, it's like sexy, but it's still tasteful in my personal opinion. But her ass is out. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Okay.
But to me, I still like it. You know what I mean? Because it's not just giving ratchet. Anyways, so what happens is her Usher comes up to her. He starts singing to her. She hugs him. They're laughing. They're singing. They're vibing. You know, they're a little close. It goes on the internet. And at that point, he retweeted the video and put, "It's the outfit though, ... You a mom." So at that point, everyone's like, okay, he's salty. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Because in my personal opinion, let me say my piece and then I want to hear what you guys think, right? We know how the internet is harsh. Obviously, right? Y'all dragged me to the death. So, and I'm not even a Keke Palmer. So as a man, right? At what point do you talk to your lady in private? At what point did me posting about my girl on the public internet, shaming her, leaving that, what did you want that to happen? You wanted people to drag her? Because that's the only thing that would have happened. You obviously wanted her to get dragged by all these people on the internet because you publicly shamed your girl. You didn't tell her, babe, that made me uncomfortable. Like, you all booed up on this nigga and you have your ass out, you got me fucked up. You publicly shamed her.
He didn't see her leave the house? Or he didn't see what, like...
Well, they probably flew to Vegas and got dressed in Vegas, I'm sure.
Oh, okay, he wasn't with her.
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
okay.
he probably at home with that baby, fucking salty. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine. And I get it.
That's
but
not funny, but...
at the same time, it's like, my biggest concern is when you publicly shame me.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? Because we know how the internet eats up a motherfucker. So you put me on the internet, blasted me, and you supposed to be my man? If you had a problem, we could hash that out, you and I.
Yeah.
Ain't no reason for you to. I could never see you publicly shaming your wife. That's weird.
Well, you couldn't see it because it would never happen.
Yeah.
I don't really know how old they are, but I'm sure they're younger than me and less seasoned than me and my wife. I saw the video, and I actually, for the first time, did some research because I didn't have a whole lot of context. So I saw the video. And from my viewpoint, I heard you say what Charlemagne said, but Usher is a performer. He's doing what he's doing. I don't think he's purposely trying to get anyone in trouble. It's a performance. If y'all think that was raunchy, you better have stayed away from a Janet Jackson concert back in the day.
Janet
she would strap you to the chair.
Listen,
and get the gyrating on you
on people's mates.
Yes, on whoever was at the concert.
I mean, men were damn near coming in their pants. Okay?
Let me finish. So if y'all think that's right, but what I'm saying is, Usher is a performer. I watched it, and I'm a guy. You know what I mean? I'm a guy that's very territorial. I'm not a jealous guy, but I'm territorial. I don't think you could be in love and don't be territorial. So I watched it from a guy standpoint, and I'm like, all right, he's performing. He didn't do nothing crazy in my viewpoint. It was all just like part of the performance. She sang along with it. Okay. He gave her the microphone because she's a performer and an artist too. Right. So they had a moment. It's a fun moment with her homegirls from what I seen. Also, I seen other video before the concert, during her pregnancy, and one after her pregnancy, where I'm assuming either he at least filmed at least one of them, but saw both of them, and she's kind of twerking, and the camera shot is directly on her ass, and she's twerking in the camera.
He filmed one of those.
And he didn't have a problem with it. So my thing is this, and I'll try to be succinct. It's not manly or player to check your woman on social media. In my opinion, only sticking within the context of what I know, that's very weak and that's very hoe-like. If you didn't like what she was wearing, you could have texted her like, look, we got to talk when you come home. You don't ever address your lady or your man on the internet, because your relationship now becomes a public domain, public property. So you have a million private eye investigators that always want to investigate to see if she's wearing the right thing, do the right thing, and report it back. Now these people believe they have agency over your relationship. Yeah. And you're going to get tired of like, why don't y'all mind y'all business? But homeboy, you put them in a business. You get what I'm saying? You should have waited till she got home. The dress itself, it's to each his own. I didn't care for it. I didn't hate it either. I was just like, okay, her ass cheeks is out. But my wife dresses very sexy. You get what I'm saying? So it's whatever's comfortable to her. I don't know. Maybe she wanted to dress sexier because her body look a little different. It's, she a little thicker than she was before she had the baby. Maybe she fighting through postpartum depression, and that outfit makes her feel real good. I don't know. I'm not a woman. I never had a baby. We don't know. But I think whatever it is, he should have addressed that in private with his woman, because it comes across very insecure. It comes across like he already has some issues, like it might already be some friction. I'm not trying to surmise or put that on their relationship, but I am a guy. I have been with my wife for a long time, so I can see and read into things that are prevalent to me that might not be prevalent and as obvious to other people because they haven't hit that chapter. So I think maybe they had some friction. Like you said, maybe he was mad he at home with the little one, but the way he addressed it was wrong. If he don't like his wife wearing that, or his girl, that ain't his wife. Let me say this, and I'll pass it to Jenn. If he didn't like it, even if he didn't like how she was dancing on him, that's his prerogative. He ain't right or wrong. So people like, yo, she could do what she want, whatever. He has a right to feel however he want to feel. Just like Azar said, address it at home. I have no right to tell him how he should feel about his woman dancing with Usher or wearing that outfit. It ain't none of my business. That's their record contract. And that's my point. Treat your relationship like a record deal. You don't know what's in Beyonce's contract. You don't know what's in her record deal. It's between her and the label. Me and my wife, we treat our relationship like a record deal.
I love it.
So I want to say this really quick. And then the next day or so, he posted on Instagram and some girl posted a screenshot of him asking to fly her out. So he's just being petty to me.
Wait, what?
The boyfriend of Keke Palmer and the baby daddy sent a girl a message like, let me fly you out to LA or wherever they're at. I think it's LA. So,
but who exposed that?
Girl?
The girl who did it. She's like, not Keke Palmer's boyfriend trying to fly me out. Bitches are gonna expose.
That's what he opened himself up to. Like I just said, now everybody think they got agency because you made your relationship public domain. So everybody got to say so. Everybody got an opinion,
Jenn,
which they gonna have anyway.
What's your opinion? I want to know, Miss. I like to know what my baby thinks.
Look,
I love how I'm her baby.
Yeah, today.
Because we know you about to Go ahead.
What? No, I agree with both of you, to be honest. Like, there's really no way around it. I also feel like it sounds like maybe this is all purposeful at this point. Like, maybe it's a marketing play or strategy or something.
I don't think that's marketing.
so.
I don't think. I just think.
To get attention?
I don't think he wanted that kind of attention. Because the internet, whether it's good or bad, right or wrong, they're going to put something negative on anything you say. It don't matter if it's good. If Jesus was here, they'd talk about him. Why you got to walk on water? People got to drink out of that water. And you got your dirty feet. It don't matter what. So if you know they're going to say something negative no matter what, I don't think he would purposefully say something like that they can actually read into and put their own interpretation on it. I think I believe some insecurity had to do with that. You get what I'm saying? And just improper manhood. Don't address your shorty online. That's weird. She gonna come home. Talk to her when she get home.
Is that enough for you to want to leave a man? Like, you did some corny, goofy shit. Like, does that show like he's so insecure? Because for me, it's like, baby, what I've learned is all the coochie and kindness in the world will not heal that man's traumas and his experiences from his past that he's projecting onto you.
Say that one more time. That whole bar. That was a bar. Say that again.
All your coochie and kindness will not heal that man's past trauma and his past experiences that he is projecting onto you. So no matter what you give a man, it's not going to change him unless he wants to change him.
Wow.
And that's a motherfucking fact.
Big facts.
Yeah.
Big facts.
So that makes me think about something else, too. You were going to say something? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. What?
Relationships and expectations and boundaries and all that good stuff. Okay. And, like, I hear a lot of people say men are selfish for whatever they're doing, or women have, like, expectations that are not realistic of men and all this other stuff. So I think that plays into your relationship and how you view relationships and how you view what your mate should or should not be doing. So my initial perspective is like, I don't control that at all. And my boundaries are for me. So I don't tell anybody what my boundaries are. I don't enforce my boundaries. I keep my boundaries. So
I like that, but it's kind of confusing.
How?
Because you don't tell them what they is. You keep them, but I can accidentally. So in relationships, and I'm not going against what you said. I'm trying to gain clarity.
I understand.
Because in relationships, everybody has a different interpretation of love. I tell Azar all the time, he think he love you. That guy think he love you. This guy think he love you. Because they think they love. They don't really know what love is.
So you don't think I'm lovable?
No, you're lovable, but their interpretation of love is tainted.
It's the difference.
You see how he does me?
No, their interpretation, they're loving you with the best love they have, but it ain't good. I'm not trying to say that you're not worthy of love. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is everybody love is not good. I treat love like mac and cheese. You know how black people always be like, well, when you go to Thanksgiving, well, who made the mac and cheese?
100%.
Because if the wrong person make it, you don't want it. You're like, nah, I'm cool, I don't want it. Well, if the wrong person trying to give me love, I don't want it because I know your love ain't good. You don't know how to love correctly. So just because they want to love you don't mean you got to accept it. Choose the person that you choose to love you based on your boundaries and the way you need to be loved. Because like mac and cheese, everybody love ain't good, and I don't want it. So that's what I mean by they think they love you. They think it's good love.
What I meant by keeping boundaries is not trying to force that person to love you the way they should love you. You don't go. I don't go tell people, like, I don't go and say, like, I pick someone who already has, like, I try to pick. I've been doing better, but I try to focus on what the person's attributes are naturally. What they do without you telling them what to do, letting them choose, letting them react in the way that they want. That's how I assess who they are. I don't say, you should be doing this to make me feel comfortable.
Let me ask you this, though, because I have a question.
Yeah.
I always thought, or let me say this. My perspective is love doesn't hurt you. A person who doesn't know how to love you does.
Boom.
So if you don't know how to love me and you don't know my boundaries and I'm not being clear about it, how are you going to love me properly? Because, for instance, right, there's ways in which I did not understand that this was a trigger for this person. I didn't know that your mom called you a hoe, so every time I said you're a hoe, you fucking... No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But look, listen, what I'm saying is like, for instance, right? I didn't know, like, my ex, he had always a problem if I didn't ask him directly something. Like, I would, instead of saying turn off the lights, I would say, is it bright in here? And he would just be like,
just ask me to turn off.
He would be so annoyed. But that was because his mom would do that to him, so it triggered him. But I never knew that because in my mind, I'm not doing anything wrong. I might have a trauma that I don't want to ask someone direct because people feel offended by that. So for me, it's like that's a small example to something that could be much bigger. But if you don't understand my boundaries, if I'm not expressing my expectations, my boundaries, or how I truly feel about love, then how the hell can you love me properly?
The only reason why I have an issue with that is because I feel like it imposes you onto another person versus it being natural for them. I'm not saying there's not areas of, that compromise, but I'm talking about the like actual nucleus, the foundation of what love is to that person. And to me, I feel like here's what I'll say.
Okay.
This is like the most interesting thing I've ever heard when I heard it. People call other people selfish. They're like, you're selfish. You don't do the things that I need you to do. You said you love me, and you're not doing those things, and you're selfish. But the person that's actually saying that is the selfish one. Like, you are selfish for imposing, like, calling someone, like, you want me to change so you feel better. You want me to be a different person so that you can feel secure and you can feel better and you can feel comfortable in this relationship. So you're telling me to not be who I am so that you are comfortable.
Touche.
And that's what I mean.
I get that.
Well, let me say this, because I think it's a mixture of both from where I'm sitting. So I think it's probably best, like mac and cheese, you get somebody that got good mac and cheese.
Exactly.
And then you can
that good mac and cheese makes that noise. Like, it's wet, it's juicy, it's ooh.
It's like
silly.
Ooh.
Let me use a different analogy, because you take your sexual
Everything
innuendos are going to get us
Everything
banned.
could be wet.
You're going to get us banned with your sexual innuendos, all right, man? But it's a mixture, because, and I can say this again, because, again, I've been with my wife so long. And I always say that because it's a beautiful thing. And it's not just an everyday thing, because if it was, everybody would be like, yeah, I've been with the same person. This is because it takes,
I think that's why,
a certain amount of intangibles to create a happy, healthy, fruitful relationship. So somebody going on 18 years, it's a mixture. They have to have a visceral understanding of love, or the nucleus of their love got to be able to pair bond with you on a visceral level. Like, I naturally like the way they love.
Yes.
But also,
100%.
That's real.
Also,
yes,
you have to teach them
how to
the
love
ins
you.
and outs, because you are complex. It's like making eggs. Like, hey, can you fry my eggs for a little when we go out to, so you have to, because I don't believe in unconditional love.
No.
I don't. My love is not unconditional. My love come with instructions, a blueprint, guidelines, rules, and regulations. Because I'm going to hand you all that so you can know how to love me properly.
Woo! This is the thing, though. Let me say this.
I cringe at that. I feel so weird about that. I don't know why.
Why?
Let me say this. I just have to get this out, right? I am someone who genuinely feels like I want to know how to love you. And that's why I can resonate with what Six is saying, because I want to know how to love you. Teach me how to love you properly. If I'm doing something that's bothering you, it might be such an easy switch for me to change it. And I want to be able to change that to make you feel better, because it might be something that's not integral to who I am as a person. And it might just be a weird habit that I have that I don't recognize that I do. So let me change that. Give me the opportunity for growth.
And
because
then,
if you cut me off because I didn't ask you to turn the lights off directly, you got me fucked up, because you could have asked me and I could have stopped doing that shit, and that would have made you feel so much better. But
I think it's deeper than that, though.
It's deeper than
like
that.
What, Jenn?
I feel like it's deeper than that, because I feel like whenever someone is doing that, like whenever someone feels like I'm sacrificing or bending or
but that's
learning
not a sacrifice, it's a compromise.
It's kind of the same, but go ahead. Make your
I don't
point.
agree.
I think to a certain
let me hear
degree
a
it
point.
ends up being, well, I did this, you can't do that. I did all this for you. I learned how to love you, and you can't even just like not like girls' pictures on Instagram. Like it always comes to a crux of, oh, now one outweighs the other. Now one person is investing versus the other because of what someone else had to say or what their interpretation of what you should be doing is.
But can I say this? The difference for me for sacrifice and compromise, when you're sacrificing something, it's something that is a part of your core value system. So I'm sacrificing something that is a part of who I am. But when I'm compromising something, it's just something that doesn't really mean that much to me.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like there's things that you shouldn't sacrifice. There's things that, to me, if I have to sacrifice this to be with you, then I shouldn't even be with you.
Right.
But there's things that I'm willing to compromise. Yeah. So give me the opportunity to have the discussion to see if this is a compromise or a sacrifice to me.
Which is why I don't tell people what my boundaries are.
Let me say this,
see,
because I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to keep vetoing a lot of that for people who want a long-lasting, happy, healthy, fruitful relationship. Because if you have very casual, surface level, banal relationships, then it takes a different set of intangibles. But to have a long-lasting, happy, healthy, fruitful relationship, I kind of know what that entails. And love is sacrificial. So there's going to be, at some point, you're going to sacrifice. Love is compromising. Love is understanding. It is dynamic. If you don't have these dynamics or don't know you need these dynamics, I can guarantee you will not have a happy, healthy, fruitful relationship with longevity. It's impossible. You need those things. That's why, in my opinion, if you want that kind of relationship, you have to share with the person how you need to be loved so that they can love. And then what Azar said, start with somebody who wants to love you in that way. Like, I am willing to love you, and thank you for telling me that, because I would have never known that, and now that I know that, I will do it. But if they like, I know it, I won't do it, then like you said on the last episode, I like how you framed that, Jen, then you need to ask yourself a separate set of questions.
Right. So I could give a great example. When I meet guys and they're in my presence, my number one love language is acts of service. So if they don't do that, I can't mess with them. Like, I literally cannot be around a man that does not have acts of service. Like,
how do you define acts of service?
Acts of service. Well, I was gonna say that at the end of the episode, we're gonna recommend everybody to read the 5 love languages.
Yeah, it's important,
because it really changed my relationship and changed my life. Because the 5 love languages ain't just about like romantic relationships. It's just about how you love on people, whether it's your sister, your brother, your cousin, your business partners. It's recognizing what they need and how they receive and view love and receive and view criticism. And it helps you pair bond with people on a permanent, deeper, fruitful level. So we're going to recommend you guys go read the 5 love languages. It changed my relationship even more for the better. But go ahead.
Yeah. So, and thanks for that, because it's true. But that's how I learned what mine was. Like, I really like when a guy is just like, oh, hey, I got this. You want something to drink? Are you hungry? Like, my ex, I would be like, I'm hungry. Like, he could be dead in his sleep and he would wake up like, what you want? I got it. I'm about to go get it. Like, he caters. He's very giving. He's very loving. He's very forthright. That's what I like in a man, period. Number one, I think like quality time and gifts and stuff, like all that's like whatever. That's all 4 for me. But number one, if you don't have acts of service, baby, we have nothing.
Well, I'm gonna veto that and say you doing yourself a disservice, because his primary love language, the way he like to give, may be words of affirmation.
Wouldn't work for me.
But listen, all you have to do, and that's why I'm glad we having this part of the conversation.
You didn't let me finish my example, by the way.
Go ahead, finish your example. It
would have flushed out. Like, it would have flushed out.
Finish your example.
Okay, so I was dating a guy who didn't really do that. I liked him a lot. Vibes was so cool. We talked all the time, day in, day out. When we actually would like hang out, it wasn't like that. His primary was not, I don't even know what it was at this point, but it was not acts of service. I knew that for sure. So when I stopped talking to him, when I was like, you know what, I'm straight, let it go, he tried to be like, well, why? And I told him what the boundary was. He pretended that he could do it. He tried to pretend that he would adhere. 6 months later, same thing. So I could have saved myself 6 months by knowing what I knew and keeping my boundary without having to tell him what it was. You don't have it.
I mean, I agree with that. But also, if y'all are dating, and I say this all the time, you're supposed to be dating multiple men anyway. So you would, it ain't even like you wasting 6 months. May the best man win. What's that show? When the Hunger Games, may the force be with you, or whatever they say. May the odds. They say may the odds forever be in your favor.
Survival of the fittest.
No, they say may the odds forever be in your favor.
Yeah,
when a woman is single, act like you single. You get what I'm saying? Don't do wifey stuff for girlfriend prices. If you're single, be single. Date, and may the best man win.
Yeah.
So if he's not giving and the other guy is giving, then you didn't waste 6 months. It's like, all right, I gave him an opportunity while entertaining other people.
I think it only feels like that when you know what you know. And I think that we have to, at least what I hear, is that we have to honor that more often. When you know something, you should probably honor it. Like, I knew it.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I knew he wasn't the one when he didn't do acts of service.
Oh, well, yeah. Then, yeah, you
and I feel
disrespected
like
your intuition, your gut.
Point.
So that's a different thing. You
That's
disrespected your gut intuition. But
Yeah.
for the people out there listening, you meet a guy, again, love is like macaroni. It's like mac and cheese. He might don't have that good mac and his good, love ain't good. So you just go the other way. I see how you trying to love me. I know that's your interpretation of love, but that ain't the way I like to be loved. But if you feel it's worth it, you can say, hey, this is how I like to be loved. And you can give him an opportunity, and maybe he can step up. You get what I'm saying?
For how long? Like, those opportunities take your time and attention. It takes your emotion. It takes your time.
Is it really taking your time if you're dating multiple people? You give him the time.
But we always like one or two more than the others.
We do.
So
all right, but then
it
that's
doesn't mean you're not invested.
That's a you thing. If you liking the wrong person more than the right person, then you need to ask yourself a different set of questions.
But I will say this. For me personally, I get what you're saying, but I think that giving people the grace and the opportunity to show up for
to waste your time.
No, I think that you allow people the certain amount of time that you allow.
Has that ever worked for you?
Well, girl, we know it. But the problem is
it worked for me because my wife had to do certain things. Like, she came, the love was good. I was really mostly the problem in the beginning. The love was good, but because how I was raised and just the way I perceive life, I did need other things to make me comfortable and make me better as a man. Because a woman's love can turn a homeless man into a billionaire. When a woman, a love from a good woman can make a man a billionaire overnight. Because the way y'all love on us makes us feel powerful and omnipotent. The way y'all love on us make us feel, when we getting good love, we are omnipotent.
But now let me ask you a motherfucking omnipotent question.
Not omnipotent.
She said omnipotent.
Like omnipresent.
Omnipotent.
Okay, so nipples. I want to ask this question.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So
nipples?
Yes. I want to know at what point. So this is my whole new thing. If I don't feel vulnerable enough to give you all of my love, I can't fuck with you. Period. If I don't feel safe to say, I'm going to give you all of me, because a queen doesn't dethrone herself. She just stops fucking with the peasants. So I'm going to keep fucking with somebody who can just rise up to the occasion. If you can't rise up, I'm not matching your energy. I'm not becoming like you. I'm not restricting my love. I'm just gonna stop fucking with your raggedy ass, and you could take your ass back to Jessica, Sarah, or whoever the fuck is gonna give you that type of vibe. Me personally, I'm not gonna match your energy, and I'm not gonna do nothing but just stop fucking with you, because if you can't align to the type of person that I am, then you don't even have the opportunity, the space to be to be with me.
I have a question for you.
Yes, I love questions.
When you go to a restaurant and you don't like the food, you don't like the service, do you go back?
I don't.
So
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. So there's no rising to the occasion. It's like, I think that's strange.
But see,
because you're not gonna
watch this. When you go to a restaurant, you can tell them we go out to eat all the time. I say, hey, let me get the French toast with whipped cream and strawberries. I want scrambled eggs, shelled eggs, not the ones, the liquid. Give me the shelled eggs. I want them scrambled with grilled cheese and onions.
And if they say no?
If they say no, I won't go back. But the point is
if they don't say no.
The point is, I'm asking how I want it. I didn't just say, give me eggs, or they say, yeah, eggs come with the French toast. And I say, perfect. No, I'm telling them how I want the eggs. If I let them just give me the eggs the way they give them, I might be like, but I can say, this is how I want them. And they can say, oh, okay, I could do that. And I'm like, I love these eggs. But if you never express, and again, this is for the people who want a long lasting, happy, healthy, fruitful relationship. You have to be communicative. I feel like that's
a stab at me, and I do want one.
It's
I just want it a specific way.
Pause. Listen.
Because you only say that when I say something.
Because what you're saying, most of the things
I do
you
want
say
one.
are
Can
not.
I want one.
You said what?
I do want one.
But wait, let me say this. You see how he had to ask the server what he wanted? He's giving them an opportunity to make it the way he wanted. If it's not the way he wanted, he's not going to come back. If they rise to the occasion, he'll continue fucking with them. That's all we're saying. We're giving you the fucking blueprint. If you can't follow it, then we not gonna fuck with you.
I have an issue with that. I really do.
Then I'm gonna come back. Like, he doesn't like this restaurant of Raw. I went there. I sent him some pictures. Like, did you get the lobster pasta and X, Y, and Z? He was like, I don't fuck with that place. But wait a minute, I didn't see all that. I might have to go back a second time and see what's good. But just 10 minutes ago, he said he was never going there again until I show him what they have to offer. So give me the opportunity to show me what you have to offer, baby, because I feel that way. Sometimes I may act a fool, but baby, tell me what you need and what you want, and I'll tell you if that's going to work for me.
Let me say this. Jen, let me ask you a question.
Please do.
Your basic framework and the way you frame out the relationships you want and how you approach them, how long have you used that framework?
Probably over the last 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years, because I want to say this, because I love you. You're my best friend. I'm not stabbing at you. You want something that I have. In 4 years, you still haven't got it, because I'm telling you your framework is flawed, and you think I'm stabbing at you. It's like, hey,
no, because you always say it when I say something. When you say, because I do. It's not that I don't want it. I don't want it a specific.
I'm not. When I say, the way I say it is to not discount what you're saying. So I have to say, for people who want this kind of relationship, because what you're saying to me is non-secular.
Is there more than one way to get to San Diego?
It is more than one way to get to San Diego.
Who cares how I get there?
Right, but what I'm saying is, have you made room for the possibility that that's not the way you get to San Diego?
Yes.
Because you've been So again,
I've been in relationships that were like that.
So if you made room that's not the way to get there, but you know I'm there and I'm saying try this, why rebuke it?
I have, though. I've followed your advice from the day I've met you.
All right, let me ask you a question.
Untrue.
Pause. You have followed a lot of my.
Exactly.
Now, when has my advice or what I said did not work?
It has. It's never not worked.
So what
I just don't believe in the struggle till you make it relationships.
I understand
to a certain degree. I don't want to do that.
I understand that, but there's going to be some struggle in everything you do, and that's why a lot of people don't even chase their dreams, because they don't want to destroy. They want to skip the struggle part. They want to microwave the relationship. Let's get straight to the matching outfits and get straight to picking out houses. You cannot microwave love. There's a process to everything, and people don't respect the process. So all I'm saying, because it ain't a stab at you, I love you. I just challenge what you're saying. I challenge what you're saying, because I'm like, that's non-secular.
I honestly think the struggle in relationships is the individual person, because the struggle is always trying to get someone else to relent. It's always trying to get somebody else to do what you think they should be doing so that you could be happy. It's never just, you know what, do whatever you want. I love you anyway. I'm here. If we work out, we work out. It's always some provision and something that somebody has to appease you to for you to be in this relationship with both people.
That's life, though.
But wait,
you can never be
80% of what she say is solid. It's dope. Her mindset, seriously, is dope. But 20% is hella flawed. And that 20% is what's holding you back. If that 20% evolves, your 80, you gonna have whatever you want long term. And that's why I always say, if you want this type of relationship, because some people don't want this or don't want that. So I'm like, if you don't want this, then hey, you don't need none of these intangibles. But I know you on camera and off camera intimately, all your thoughts, your heartbreaks, and I'm like, yo, overall framework is pretty dope, but the 20% that's flawed is heavily flawed. And I can say that because now I can definitely say it with confidence, because you said I do want that kind of relationship. But
I want a relationship.
Right.
What
you
kind
want
of it? I want something. But I just want to
healthy,
be in the presence of someone where we're just accepting of one another.
Let me ask you this. Do you want a long-lasting, happy, healthy, fruitful relationship?
No. I want a relationship that works when it works. I don't need
But you
it.
have that. You have relationship that works when it works.
Right, I'm not complaining.
Right, I didn't say you was.
Yeah.
So therefore, because a minute ago, and it's on tape, you said I do. I said if you want to.
Well, people assume that I don't want to be in a relationship. I want to be a side chick or a pick-me chick.
When I said for people who want a happy, healthy, fruitful, long-lasting relationship, she said, but I do want that. Now you just said I don't want that. So you contradicting yourself and confusing me and probably confusing the universe because you just said that that's what you want. Now you said I don't want that.
Well, with context. So I would put it with context. I don't want people to assume that I don't want to be in a relationship, and you either.
Do you want that relationship to be fruitful?
Of course.
Do you want that relationship to be happy?
Of course.
Do you want that relationship to be healthy?
Of course.
Do you want longevity on that relationship?
If that's what it is, I don't.
Longevity. Do you want it to last?
I'm not sure I know what longevity means.
Do you want the relationship to last? See, then you don't know. If y'all not watching, you can't hear.
No,
so if you don't know, if you don't want
the
the relationship to last, then you have to ask yourself.
Can
some
I
questions.
tell you what I want? I want a relationship, whatever that means. It doesn't. I say that because it doesn't mean I want to get married. It doesn't mean I want to have kids.
I didn't use the word married.
I'm using
the word
it.
kids.
I'm opening it up to what I
Okay.
want. So I'm trying to make clarity on. I want to be in the presence of someone I like being around.
Short term.
No, there are no guarantees.
But because I'm saying that not to pin you down.
No,
because
it's fine.
You've had short term dope relationships.
Okay, so I'll say what I want and what I want.
Okay.
Wait, because you said what you want. And I asked you, do you want longevity? You said, what does longevity mean? I said, long lasting. You said, well, if it lasts, it lasts. It don't. So based on everything you just told me, you've had really dope relationships that lasted short. Yeah. So you always get what you want because you never said, I have dope relationships, but I want to keep being dope. I want it to stay. You
I
said
didn't
you
say
don't care.
either one. So why would I be
You
attracted?
just said it. It's okay. You
no,
just said,
what I said
do
was
you want it to last?
You have to understand what my belief system is. My belief system is that everything is here for a time. Everything ebbs and flows. Everything comes and goes. So if it does turn into that and I look up and I've been in a relationship with somebody for 10 or 15 years, that's okay. But my end game is to be in a healthy relationship, whatever that means.
Right. And
it doesn't mean.
So based on what you just said, you have those. You have healthy relationships. They might last 6 months. They might last 3 weeks. So you're getting what you're asking the universe for. You never told the universe, I want longevity in my relationship. I want a long life. You're saying it right now. You said it 5 times on camera. What you want.
But
and I'm your best friend, so I know
they're not mutually exclusive is my point.
But I know she get what she asked for.
What did I ask for?
That you want a relationship that's happy? Because I asked you that. You said yeah. You said you want a relationship that's healthy. Mm-hmm. And you have relationships like that.
Right. I'm not complaining. I don't have any issue with where things are going. So I'm not saying it to debate that it's working or not working.
Right. But my point is, because you said you took a jab at me.
No, I said I feel like every time you say that, you're saying it because of what I said.
So it can't be a jab if I'm saying if you want a happy, healthy, fruitful, long-lasting relationship, because you just said you don't want that. So how could it be a jab at you if I'm saying, hey, y'all, if y'all want this? Because you're giving advice based on what you want. So some people want what you want. So your advice going to work for them. That's why I say that, because I can't attest for that. Only you can. It's like if you want a Toyota, what are you doing at a Bentley dealership? Mm-hmm. Or if you want a Rolls Royce, why are you doing it at a Ferrari dealership? So
can I be honest with you? It feels discounting.
It's not. Wait,
but I'm telling you how it feels to me.
All right. I'm sorry that you receive it that way.
It's okay.
But math doesn't have an opinion. So let's do the math. When I speak about having a happy, healthy, fruitful, long-lasting relationship. You just said you don't care if it's long-lasting or not. So we don't even talk. We don't even want the same thing. So when I say you should do this and should do that, that's so you can achieve this. You're saying I don't necessarily need to achieve that. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying
I know that.
Right. So it can't be a jab at you if
I feel like if you were saying something and you made a point and I got on the mic, I was like, if you don't want that, talk about listen to what I'm saying.
Right. That's right. That ain't a jab. If you don't want what she want and you want this is how you got to do it.
But I don't preface anything that I say that way.
I didn't say you did.
I know.
I do.
I know.
Because there's people who want this and there's people who want that.
I'm sure they can discern that.
I believe that you will resonate with a very specific group of men and women, and that your advice to them is solid, dead on, and it's going to get them exactly what they want. I believe that in all my hearts of hearts. I'm not lying. On the other side of that coin, there's men and women that want what I'm saying is out there. So my advice is going to work for them, not for the people who have the framework of your belief system. It's like saying, hey, I want fried chicken. Then why are you at this burger stand? Mm-hmm. I'm saying, hey, y'all, if y'all want fried chicken, you're going to need chicken. And you like, no, I don't really need chicken. Well, why you don't need chicken for fried? Because I don't want fried chicken. I want hamburger. Oh, okay, y'all. So those who want hamburgers, listen to Jenn. For those who want this chicken, listen to 6. For those who want chicken and waffles, listen to Azar. That's what I'm saying. So it ain't a jab. I'm separating because I don't want our listeners to believe it's convoluted. It is mutually exclusive. Those intangibles.
I think what you're saying, I think what Jenn is trying to say, and I could be wrong, is that when you say that, it makes it seem like what she wants is not as good as what you're saying. Like it's almost like, well, no, it's like this, like, oh, you eat hamburgers? Yeah, I only
for those that eat chicken.
For those that want to eat beef, you can go eat beef.
But it ain't good.
But we don't eat that over here. We don't eat red meat.
Don't
you know what I'm saying?
I don't judge.
I'm not saying that's what you're doing.
I don't judge because only you know what's good for you.
Yeah, no.
Only you know what's good. A motherfucker who was that? Keke Kirkland. I saw a video. He was like, I don't believe in marriage. He was like, because when you get married, you know, motherfucker want to know where you at, and I ain't got to tell nobody where I'm at. And if I want to go to Paris, I could just go to Paris, and I get up and go where I want to go. And when you marry, you can't do that. You got to worry about it. And I was watching the video, and I fuck with Keke Kirkland, and one side of me was like, also, when you fall down and die, no one's going to come looking for you. You in there alone most of the time. That was my visceral reaction. Like, yeah, at your age, bro. Like,
I'm not even sure who you're talking about. I don't have to look.
Yeah, no, he's a comedian. He's funny. I fuck with him.
Okay.
But that statement, I could fuck with you and not fuck with everything you say.
Of course.
So viscerally, when he said that, I was like, what? What the hell? Why would you want to be that age and not have? But I was like, the other side of me, the reasonable side, was like, everybody don't want the same thing, Six. Yeah. And he looks happy. He said it with a smile. Like, man, he looks happy. Mm-hmm. So I use that analogy or that to preface this. I'm not downplaying what you want. I just, when we talk and get into these, I try to separate it so it's not convoluted. Mm-hmm. So our listeners know you're listening to two very different messages. One is going to send you to Vegas and one is going to send you to San Diego.
Maybe. I also feel like in that message, that's just his perception on what marriage is. He could marry somebody that wouldn't care where he was at.
I know that.
So
I know that.
That's why I say there is more than one way. It's just your belief system that's holding you back.
I said that too. Like, yo, you could get, because my wife don't trip, but I was like, that's his perception.
Exactly.
And perception is the only reality that matters because that's the reality that you operating from.
Well, you know, for me, I feel like I can get advice from both ends of the spectrum. Like, we know, I want a relationship. I'm a relationship type girl. I want to, you know, have marriage or something that, you know, looks like marriage or whatever, family. And I can take pieces of what you say and
that's kind of what I was getting at
because for me, it's like when I listen to Jenn, it just automatically reminds me that, you know, sometimes you just have to be unattached to the outcome, enjoy the moment and enjoy where you're at. And then, you know, with Six, I can understand too, even within that, there's boundaries that need to be set. There's things that need to be happening. There's ways that you need to go about shit. So I feel like I can pick from both, you know, pieces of advice and apply them to my own life.
Can I say this? And I'm going to be succinct. I really am.
I love that.
When I give advice, especially when it comes to relationships, again, I'm giving it because I'm going on 18 years. Mm-hmm. First of all, you argue with yourself. We all do. Mm-hmm. You get mad at your best friend. You get mad at your sister. So imagine being with one person for 18 years. How long? It's so many things going to happen.
Yeah.
So the fact that all those things happen when we still here, but not just still here, we fruitful. Not just fruitful, but we happy. Not just fruitful and happy, but we healthy. Those take a whole different set of intangibles. When I first started one of my companies, back when I used to have a job, right, I would get the employee handbook, and I'd be like, they're really saying this? This is stupid. Who don't know this? Like, What the fuck I gotta read this stupid shit
and
for?
Some people don't
hold
know.
on, what do I gotta read this stupid shit for in this employee handbook? Like, this is common sense. I started my own business.
How to do that?
I didn't have no employee handbook, and I remember having literally when things were going real bad because my employees. I remember saying to my employee when we had a conversation and I addressed her on something, I was like, I have to tell you don't sleep with clients.
Yeah, it's not.
I was like,
sense.
wait, I gotta tell you, like, you didn't know that?
Yeah, like you work.
Like,
for
here
me.
my business is in jeopardy because she did a bunch of things that I'm like, you don't know not to do. And I was like, this is why big companies like McDonald's that's been here forever have to have. So when I talk, it's like, look, I'm speaking from some, like McDonald's would be like, you don't have a handbook? And I'd be like, nah, that's remedial. And then things will happen and they'll be like, that's why you need a handbook.
Yeah.
We've been in business 88 years. This is why you need a handbook.
There's a quote for that, right? You said something like, if you don't know, your money ends up paying for what you don't know or something. There's a quote, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
When I speak, I'm like, look, this from 18 years is what I learned. You might want to do this.
And it's a blueprint.
You cannot, or you can't. You can't. She was telling me something about her folks and how long they've been together, and I was like, dang. And I was just listening because they got 30 years, I think you said. So when she was talking, I was listening because I ain't at 30 years. I don't even know what 19 years feel like because I ain't there. So if I meet somebody that's 19 years, I'm listening. Because at 18 years and 6 months, this can happen. How would I know? They've been there, I haven't. So when I talk, it's like, hey, if you want this is probably, start here. It might be a different way to do it, but at least start here. Because here is at least tried and true instead of like, hey, I'm going to just go freestyle it. Cool. But if you've been freestyling a while and ain't working out for you, it's like, find some type of structure. But again, I'm not downplaying it. And I know you happy as shit. I tell you all the time, you're successfully single. Like, I like the way you rolling with that. Like the way, because I see some people who are not successfully single.
You tell me that as well.
I was about to get to you. I do tell her that. But you just started being successfully single. I'm going to tell you just started. Well, I ain't going to put you all the way out there. But Jenn been successfully single for a while.
It's fun, actually.
For a while.
There are some
for a long while. Successfully single. That means she glowing and growing. She's not bitter. She's better. She's not sore, she's sore. SORE or SOAR. Eagles don't fly with seagulls. And with that being said,
because you know what it is too?
We're trying to close out.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I said with that being said.
Well, because I wanted to say one bar.
Well, say one thing.
Say your bar, because we got 30 seconds.
So for me,
the big gas.
In order for me to be successfully single, and in order for me to realize what I had to realize was, my garden wasn't blooming because every time it grows, I picked the flower to prove to someone that I was a gardener. And I wasn't focusing on myself. So grow your garden and don't worry about the next motherfucker. Because someone who really fucks with you is going to come and water that motherfucker, going to speak life into that motherfucker, and is not going to pick your flowers.
And that's a word.
And that's a word.
I really enjoyed our conversation today. It went from Keke to a whole bunch of things because I think that whole Keke Palmer thing is layered, and I don't like diving in nobody's relationship, but you put it out there and I try to be respectful, want to remain respectful. And to anybody listening, my advice is to run your relationship like a record deal. Nobody know what's in everybody's contract. They got a record deal. You don't know what's in there. Nobody should know what's going on in your relationship. Nobody know what me and my wife got going on, so you don't know what to report. So if you see my wife, you can't, she doing this or she doing that. You don't know if she was supposed to do. You don't know what she allowed to do or what not allowed to do. You have no agency over here. Why are you even watching her? So if nobody know what's going on, they don't know what to audit. So keep your business between y'all, especially if you a guy that's not player. You get what I'm saying?
Ooh, I hear you. And stop talking about your relationship to everyone. That's what I had to learn in my last relationship. It is not everyone's business to know when this happened, that happened, this happened. You might have someone or one person that you seek counsel from, but for the most part, you should not have your relationship business in these streets or in everyone's ears, because that is going to convolute your mind. You're the only person who truly knows what goes on in your relationship. So your perspective and what you're spewing to the next person may make them give you the wrong advice, and you may fuck up your relationship before it even started. Stop doing that shit. Just keep it private. It's more attractive when you hold it down.
Yep.
And your final thoughts, Jenn?
My final thoughts are, Be responsible and accountable.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to Unqualified as Mother Fuck. Love y'all.
Peace.
Peace.